We're going to explain why we use the zero product property in a minute. So we're going to solve this system equations algebraically now. So now you see we have our system equations with one quadratic and one linear. And what we need to do first is set them equal to each other. So I set my equations equal to each other. And remember, when we're solving a quadratic function, we want to get one side equal to 0 because we want to be able to use that zero product property or our certain formula. So we want to get into standard form. We could do this with a linear too. It involves us doing one step to move to one side. But just remember, when we have a quadratic, we always want to find our solution, which is our zeros or our roots. So to move items to one side, I'm going to subtract an x from both sides and a 3 from both sides. So you can see I do that, and I've drastically simplified my equation. I have 0 equals x squared minus 5x. So the first thing that we want to check is we want to spend about 20 to 30 seconds to see if this is factorable. You should see that there is an x term in both of these items, so there's a 5x and an x. So both of them have an x in, so I can factor out an x from those terms. And I get a nice formula of x times x minus 5. So in this case, our a is x, our b is x minus 5. Those are our factors, and we can officially use that beautiful zero product property that allows us to solve the roots for our parabola or our quadratic formula. So our zero product property is telling us that x either equals 0 or x minus 5 equals 0, or they both equal 0. So if I solve for x for both of those, I get that x equals 0 or x equals 5. So you'll see that in our solution set. And what I can do to get those points is I can take either of these formulas, because we've set them equal to each other, and I can replace the x value to get my coordinates, my y value. So if I put a 0 in, I'd get the coordinate value of 0, 3. If I put a 5 in, I'd get the coordinate value of 5, 8, which is exactly what we found when we graphed our items, which I will pull up now. There's our zero product property. So we found the same 2 points when we graph the solution. Now let's just go back real quick and get to this point right here and graph this equation too. So let's graph when we actually got our equation, our quadratic formula set to 0. So we had x squared, what was that, minus 5x. Okay, so I still get a formula, or I still get, I'm sorry, a quadratic, but it looks different, and it obviously does not cross my line at the same places. So that's not the solution. So I want you guys to think about, what did we actually do that was the solution? What was the next step? And I want the class discussion to surround around that. Why can this x squared minus 5x that we simplified to algebraically help me solve this problem?